Hi, welcome to The Positive Side. This is Anne DeSantis. I'm your host. This show is all about the positive things that people are doing, and today is no different. I have Mike Provenzano. He's an actor, a model, and a voiceover artist from the Greater Philladelphia area. Mike, I want to welcome you to my show.
Oh, thank you for having me, Anne.
Thank you. So a lot of times on the show we talk about, life, work, and mission. I thought maybe we could just start out with your life. Just start us out with, who is Mike and your family? Okay. Anything you want to share?
Sure. Well, I'm a father of four boys, and age ranging from 23, 17, 14, and 8. So we have a pretty widespread set of kids. One of our sons has autism, Aiden. He's 17. I can't believe he's going to be in high school, or he's graduating high school next year. We have a fun home. My wife and I knew we were outnumbered about long ago, and have just been having a blast with life in general with the kids. They're just, I'm a coach for my kids, and so I'm pretty active in their lives, and I just have a blast.
No, it's amazing. Yeah. Now, we had talked recently, and you had shared, your own journey of your early life, and it was quite different than your life now. I wondered if you could share a little bit about that.
When I was 5, my mom left us, and I had 3 brothers and a sister, so it was kind of hard for my dad to kind of deal with everyone at once. So when we were about 9, we ended up going into a foster home in Southampton, Pennsylvania, which is literally the place is 5 minutes from my house now. And we were there for 4 years. But where today a lot of kids that go into foster care kind of end up at someone's house. Back then there was 40 kids in a 40-acre place that had 4 houses on it. So I still have some of the friendships from then. I was there, I was there from the time I was 9, and I left when I was 14. And one of my best friends there, we're still close, which is great. He lives up in Long Island now, but we still keep in touch, and it's
wonderful.
So it's, for me, I never look at it as a negative, because I've part of who I am is from there. I've got friendships from there. There's things I learned from there.
There's always a reason, isn't there?
Absolutely. Yep,
I would say. We're on the positive side here, and I wanted to, bring that up because I know looking at, where have you been, could have been a challenge for some people, but you took that and, looking at where we are today and all that you've accomplished is just really incredible. So,
and like I said, I don't look at it that way. I look at it as just, it was another experience that made me who I am today. And whether it's, that was what was meant to be. That's
right. Now, you have so much going on with your 4 kids and with the acting and modeling and voiceover. Let's start out with the modeling and how you got involved in this.
I got into this almost by accident, to be honest. It was something I wanted to do when I was in my early 20s, but I definitely didn't have the confidence to do it. And then it's literally almost 3 years now. About 3.5 years ago, I was working with a friend of mine in the construction area. And I have a technology background, so I was helping him clean up his computer systems and such. And when I was finished with it was just kind of like a temp job to help him out. When I was done, I was getting ready to leave, and one of the guys was an instructor at a acting school in Langhorne, and he said, "You should check it out." And I was like, "Are you kidding?" And he was like, "No, for real."
Oh, wow.
And so I went to an open call with about 50 people, and the director, after talking with everybody, said, "We're going to invite 4 of you to our school." And I just happened to be one of them. And
amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of lucky or great timing. And so I went through the class, and did it for about 4 months, and then when I was done, I got signed by an agency in Philly right away. And then it kind of started growing.
It's really blossomed, because I think, now, did you share with me that you got involved with this in the last 5 years, wasn't it? Something like that?
Yep. And I'm blessed. I really feel lucky that I'm able to do this. I meet a lot of great people on the projects I'm honored to be a part of, and I just feel lucky that people want to use me for a project. I really feel that way, and I treat it that way. I treat it like a business, and a lot of people don't understand that, and that's the interesting part. some people get it and they're doing it for the right reason. Some people are just, they want to be on TV, and that's why they're doing it. And they don't really learn, practice, really try to make a real career out of it. And my goal right now is to have this be the career that I can, support my family with. And that's really one of my main objectives, is one of my goals.
Doing a fantastic job. You use the word blessed, and that is a word that I like on the positive side. That's a big part of being positive. And you also mentioned relationships. Now, you and I have a common friend. We want to say hello to Rich Hinkles. He was also a guest on the positive side when this program first started. So you were telling me about one of the jobs that the two of you might have worked together, was it?
Yeah, Rich and I met at a Field and Stream project up in the Poconos about 2.5 years ago. I'm pretty sure it was his first project that he worked on, and, and I got into it a little bit before him, maybe about 6 months. And we've become friends ever since. We compete on the same projects routinely, but we treat our friendship first. And that, to us, is more important than who gets the job, and the way we've always looked at it was, hey, if one of us gets the job, great. There's so many people that they get to pick from that if we're in the hunt, great.
That's right. And I think I've learned, I'm also involved in acting, modeling in the Greater Philadelphia area. And when you are sort of a 50-plus model, there are really a handful of people sometimes that you see at these same auditions, and have had some of those guests on my show. Ron Parson was just on, and Jody Bocci, and some other people, Rich. So it's always great to connect with our fellow models and actors. So would you want to share anything else about the modeling part of it? I know we're going to also talk about your acting.
Well, I started out modeling, and I kind of thought that was where I was going to grow. And it was interesting that I did a couple modeling jobs when I first started, but then it shifted. It stopped. And then this year it started to pick back up again. So it's interesting how the cycle kind of goes like this. I enjoy the modeling work, and like I said, you meet a lot of fun people. I did one a couple months ago, and they custom tailored a suit for me from France, and at the end of the shoot they said, "Here, it's yours."
I know, isn't that great?
But it's just it's great because you meet a lot of wonderful people, and
yes,
just I never looked at myself as somebody that was camera personable or and somebody told me, hey, you got a good look for the camera, but I never thought of it that way, and until somebody says it to you, you don't.
That's right. That's right. And so you're a model, you're an actor, and you're a voiceover artist. Tell us now about your acting.
Acting has been it's been a blast, and I've become very comfortable on camera, and that wasn't something that I was comfortable doing years ago, and I think that's probably why I didn't have the confidence that I do now to be on camera. So I've done a lot of infomercials. I have a few clients in the Jersey area that just routinely use me to be a dad or a business person, something to that effect.
Be perfect.
I've got a little bit gray. I've got a lot more gray than it looks like I have right now because when it's wet, it looks better. So I've done a lot of infomercials, and that gave me a great amount of experience of understanding how it works on set. Gave me the confidence to not look at the camera when you're not supposed to. And from there, I've done a bunch of short films. I've got a couple features that are kind of in the works right now. I get to be a vampire in October.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and I can't share much about it yet because I'm just not allowed to. But we did a teaser for it a couple months ago, and I had the long fangs coming out.
Did you?
Yeah, it looked really cool.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a fun one that I'm looking forward to. And I didn't expect to do horror films, but I have 2 features that I'm booked for. One film's in October this year, another one starts in January next year. So it's kind of cool that even though I've never done that, I have the opportunity to. So I'm getting to broaden my horizons a little bit.
You've done a lot. I mean, you've been involved in 3 years, and I know you're busy. I mean, we talked about that, and you are busy.
And it's interesting when you come from the business world of what's busy, and then people tell you that you're busy in this industry, you don't feel that way. It doesn't feel the same. Because I'm used to doing the 9 to 5 or 8 to 8, work schedule of just putting out fires. And I ran operations for years, so
yeah.
So when you're doing acting work, you do have this cycle of when you're busy and when you're slow. And
That's true. I agree.
And that was probably the hardest thing that I had to deal with or getting used to was phone's not ringing. I'm not getting auditions, and that can be stressful, but you have to work through it.
That's right. Now, I know that pretty soon we're going to be taking a break, and when we take that break, we are going to be able to see some of the work that you have done. So everyone stay tuned. In between those commercials, we have some great examples of Mike's work. We'll see you in just a few minutes.
Dad, we talked about leaving this in good hands.
Yeah, but not in the hands of the competition.
You're right. Let it crash.
Marcus, you did.
You gonna take his side on this?
This is one of our few options.
Say no.
Dad, if we refuse them, we don't have the resources to be competitive. Stocks are down, and despite trade, about 25% is below the proposed take. I'm trying to save us.
We can finally visit the San Luigi de Franceschi.
Mom,
Do you think I was handed this company?
what does that mean?
Jake, give your father some time.
No. Come on, Dad. You think what, some trust fund kid because you gave me my first job?
Show some respect.
Didn't I earn it?
What, the job or the respect?
Dad, we talked about...
Say we've got grit, and we'll take it as a compliment. Because it's our uncommon drive, our spark within, that brings us together and sets us apart. We are temple made. And when others take shortcuts, when others take breaks, when others take the easy way, we take charge.
Add us on social media to watch bloopers, behind the scenes footage, previews, and more.
I've never done any off-road driving, to be honest. I've been in school a long time, obviously. I'm just looking forward to doing something I've never done before.
All right, Mike, this is what you've been waiting for. Awesome, there you go. Real smooth, real gentle. Just keep it moving, nice and easy.
This is crazy.
Wow, this is insane. I think we're gonna need a bigger boat.
Great job.
I have faith in you. Right. I have faith.
That was incredible.
Incredible?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Very intimidating at first. Actually, it's pretty funny. My whole life, people have always told me to slow down. For once in my life, I actually had to.
Sometimes all you need is a supportive instructor like Greg. He'll get you through it.
I'm a father of 4, take my kids everywhere, and I kind of lost the enjoyment of driving, and I think this brought it back.
This whole experience was just like going back to school, but awkward.
Welcome back to The Positive Side, and this is a great show. As I mentioned before, I have Mike Provenzano. He's an actor, a model, and a voiceover artist from the Greater Philadelphia area. So welcome back again after the break. Right before the break, we had 2 of his commercials. So I wondered if you could talk about both of those. One was actually an acting piece, and then there was a commercial. So can you tell us about those?
Sure. The first one was a short where I play the dad of a business that it's time for me to let go of the reins. It's time to, quote unquote, turn it over to my son, and he's really adamant about selling it to the competition. And as a business owner, nobody typically wants to do that. And it was you saw part of it, but he was pretty heated as far as trying to, hey Dad, you're done, I'm taking this over.
That's right.
I'm doing what I want to do, and you're going to deal with it. So that was kind of the gist of it. But it was a fun project to work on. We had some great crew and cast that were involved. And that's the one thing, the beautiful part about this is that you always meet great people.
Oh, you do.
There's
I agree.
A handful that, okay, maybe they shouldn't have made the cut for the project we were on, but overall, everyone's there because they want to succeed. They want you to succeed. Even when you go to auditions, they want to see you do well. And that's the best part about it, is that really people are on the same side trying to make something special.
You're on the positive side. That's why you're here too, because that's what you are. Now, we had also talked about your son and, you know, the busyness that you have with being a father. I know that your son Aiden does have autism. You shared that with us. And that's been a topic on our show twice. So I wondered if you could share a little bit about your experience with dealing with his autism.
Absolutely. Autism is something that you don't know what you're going to get. It's so different for everyone. And when Aiden was born, he had meningitis when he was 23 hours old. So we think that's kind of what started everything with him. And it was kind of cute when he was about 6 months old. He was in his, or maybe a little younger than that, he would rock himself in his car seat when it was just on the floor. And so we thought it was cute, and they're like, oh no, he's self-stimming, which we didn't realize because we had never experienced it before. And but the autism community, they really support each other. And that's, if there's one thing I've learned is that when you have someone in your family with autism, you're going to meet other people that are going through something similar to you, something better than you, something easier, something harder. And Aiden, when he was about 10 years old, we were told if he hasn't started talking yet, he's never going to talk. And
When, how old he was?
He was 10.
10, okay.
Yeah, and he really was nonverbal, and but he was really receptive, and he really learned a lot. He had a picture exchange book, so we'd pick out a picture, put it on like a Velcro sentence strip, and that's how he would communicate what he wanted.
Yeah.
Then with technology, it became the iPad, and he started using the iPad to tell us what he wanted. And then our youngest, Ethan, was born, and when he started talking, Ada started talking. Now, I can't
Is that right?
I can't say which one started talking first, but it was interesting that they both started talking at the same time.
It's amazing.
And while he doesn't have conversations like you and I do, he put the iPad away because it was easier for him to say what he wanted than it was for him to go searching for what he was looking for, which was really neat to watch. I'd say the saddest part is yesterday is a perfect example. I mentioned in our break that our 8th grader is moving on to high school next year. And so we have a pool in the backyard. He had a party with 40 of his friends.
Okay.
And so I watched him and them having a blast, and I see what Aiden's missing out on, and which is the sadder part of he doesn't get to experience the same things that his
Socially,
yeah.
possibly, yes.
And
I should mention, if you don't mind, because one of the guests on the show was Acting Antics, the people from a specific organization that helps to bring better social skills to those with autism, so, and on the spectrum. So I just had to mention that because you're mentioning the social, and they were sitting in these very seats here. Check it out. Check out Acting Antics too.
And there are, I used to be a part of the Autism Cares Foundation, and they hold social events monthly for families with someone.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so it's not just about the individual with autism, but it's about the individual and their families. And that's how we met a lot of the friends that we have.
That's right, because it's not just, it affects the whole family and the extended family and the friends, and it's working together for the good.
Yeah,
so you're doing a great job. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
Now, I just wanted to go back a little bit on our other discussion about the commercials because we never got to finish off talking about the second one. So if you could just tell us a little bit about that second commercial that they showed.
Sure. That was probably one of my favorites. It was for Land Rover's Experience Center down in North Carolina. So they flew me down to North Carolina last year, and we went off-road driving. And that was what we were there for. I was there as an older dad, as a dad who lost the joy of driving.
Is that right?
Because what do we do now? We drive our kids everywhere they need to go. You become a chauffeur as opposed to enjoying the road. And with the Land Rover Experience Center, I was driving off-road through water hazards, and somebody was driving where at one point in time they were on rocks and only 2 wheels were on the rocks, the other 2 were in the air. So it was a really, really fun project. And while I was driving through the water hazard, it created a wave in front of me, which looked really cool when you actually watched the segment. But it was just
very well done.
Yeah, it was.
Really was.
There was. It's amazing how much effort goes into something that seemed like it was 30 seconds long.
I learned that too, just doing similar work. Now I know you also do voiceover work Thought we could just touch on that because maybe somebody's watching who's interested in that. How is that for you, and what's the experience like?
That, I started just by doing a project a couple years ago. It was actually in New Hope, so it was close to home, which was kind of nice for an acting job. And then I did some voiceover work. It was for a couple pharmaceutical companies that I've done it for. And then you never see the footage because it's all internal, so you don't get to use it to build your reel. Right?
I've experienced that myself.
We all know that feeling. So I built a little home studio for myself. I have a little kit set up so I can do voiceover from home if necessary. I've done
That's good.
I've done a few projects. I'm actually the voice of a bingo app on the iPhone.
Oh, are you?
Yep,
I'll check that out.
Called Bingo Bash. So my kids love that when they
Love it.
heard that. And it's something that I'm trying to do a little bit more of, because when you're not working, you can do voiceover any day of the week, in the comfort of your own home, as long as you've got the right tools for it, which I do now. So I'm hoping to grow
And
it
professionally.
over time. And the nice thing is, having a business background, I understand what businesses are looking for. And so I've got a little bit deeper of a voice, which sometimes they like, sometimes they don't. So, but it's like I said, it's I'm having a blast doing all of it, and voiceover just made sense to add to what I'm already able to do.
Great. I was wondering if there's somebody out there. A lot of times people watch the show, and it's a learning experience for some to meet these different people and learn about the good things they're doing. I always say that's part of what this show is about, is the great things that people are doing. Mike's no different. Could you give us a few tips for somebody who's out there that might think they want to get involved in acting and modeling, but they don't have any experience? What would be some maybe three or four tips that you could give them?
Well, the first, what I say is, I've been acting for 52 years. I just started doing it on camera a few years ago, right? So we all do that in our daily lives. But if you really want to get into the business, you need to treat it like a business. And you need to, get professional headshots done, because if you don't, it shows that you're not serious. That the perception is you're not serious about really wanting to be in the industry. The second thing, you've got to submit yourself. You got to put yourself out there. You have to accept hearing nothing afterwards, right? It's one thing, no news is good news in most worlds, but no news is bad news in this industry, right? And that's okay. And you have to understand that people, the casting directors that are looking through hundreds or thousands of photos to start, have an idea of what they're looking for. And just because you're not the fit for that one doesn't mean you're not the fit for the next one. And that, for me, I track a lot of the things that I do.
Yeah, you told me about that. We had the conversation.
Yeah,
you told me about how you and Rich both track, your auditions and what percentage you've gotten.
Yep, and that a lot of people won't take it to the extreme that we have with a website and talking to each other once a week about how it's going. But what they can do is download an app off of your phone that allows you to track whatever it is that you want to track.
I'm going to do it.
Track how many submissions I do a week, and I set a goal for myself of 30 submissions a week between the different websites of Backstage, Actors Access, and Casting Networks and such. If you're starting out, try accessing Backstage to start. It's a great place to start. There's a ton of castings. There's more castings on the other side, but don't just rely on an agent. You want to reach out to agents and submit to them whatever you've done. If you have photos, that's a place to start. Another great place to start is with student films.
Yes.
They do, because they're trying to make a name for themselves as a student, as they break into this industry. They do quality work. They've got the proper gear. They've got nice lighting. They do it all right. And while you may not make much money or any money on it, but you're getting footage for yourself, and that's what people need. And work brings work, and if the perception is you're working a lot, that will continue to happen for you.
I would agree, everything that you've said, because I've been involved also for about 5 years, and everything that you said, and I especially like that you mentioned not to give up, because a lot of times you will go on auditions or get an opportunity. That's the point, I think, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just that you get this opportunity. Yep. And whether or not you get the job, if you go in with that expectation, I hope I get the job, but if it doesn't work out, at least it was learning experience.
Yeah. And the other thing I've learned is that as you're going to an audition and you don't book that one, it's not the end of the world, because remember, you have a casting director who just met you. And while they may not remember your name, they're going to remember what you did there, and they're going to say, well, this person wasn't right for this one, but I'm going to remember them for the next
That's
one.
right.
That's what people really need to remember.
I'm sad that we have to end the show soon. I wondered if you could tell our viewers any way that they could get in touch with you or your website and share that information.
Absolutely. Well, I have a website. It's www.mikeprov.com. I'm on Facebook and Instagram with, my name is Mike A. Provenzano. If you want to look for me there, I'm on IMDb, LinkedIn. So I'm kind of, because I have a techie background, I'm kind of everywhere that you need to be. I'm not really up on Twitter yet, but I'm sure that'll happen over time.
It's been such a pleasure to have you on the positive side. Come back again. Definitely.
I appreciate you having me today.
For Mike Provenzano, myself, we'll see you next time.